What if I told you everything you believed about Chrissy Lampkin and Jim? Jones was nothing but a beautifully packaged lie wrapped in Dipset nostalgia and VH1 edits. What if I told you Camron? Yes, pink mink-draped Harlem's finest Camron. Dropped an audio file so raw, so damning, it cracked open a decade of loyalty, lies, and late-night hotel meets. And no, this ain't no Love and Hip Hop rerun. This is real, messy, unfiltered betrayal with voice memos, burner phones, and confessions that sound like they were scripted by Shonda Rhimes after 3 shots of tequila. How did Jim Jones react? Baby, he didn't throw a fit. He sat there like a man watching his entire love story crash and burn in 4K. Ron didn't just spill tea. He dumped the whole kettle into the streets and lit the stove for good measure. Chrissy? Let's just say she might need a lawyer, a new PR team, and a witness protection plan by the time this story is done. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear is not a rumor, it's the audio leak that just torched the last loyal love story Dipset ever had. And guess what? The receipts are louder than the denials. Asterisk, they said it was just a rumor. A twisted internet lie cooked up by bored fans who had nothing better to do than stir drama between Harlem legends. But then Camron hit upload. No caption, no warning, just audio. Clear, time-stamped, and devastating. Wasn't a song. It wasn't a diss track. It was a recorded conversation that changed everything. You could hear Chrissy's voice plain as day, sipping something and speaking like the cameras weren't watching. Loyalty never existed, like Jim Jones was. Nothing more than a brand she used to keep the lights on. The first line. Jim still thinks I'm in love with the idea of us. He doesn't know I've been gone for a long time. It's not just shade. That's the sound of a legacy crumbling. And then came the kicker. She laughed. Not nervous. Not guilty giggled like it was all just a joke. Like the last 10 years were nothing but lines from a bad script she was tired of reciting. Cam stayed silent on the tape. Bet the damage didn't need his voice. The lighter flicked. The beat dropped faintly in the background, and the internet exploded. Twitter turned into a war zone. Group chats caught fire, and fans everywhere started asking the same question. Was any of it ever real? And more importantly, how long had Cam been holding on to this? Because this wasn't a casual leak. This was surgical, precise. A grenade thrown right into the center of everything Jim Jones thought he built with Chrissy. You think this was petty? Oh no, this was strategic. According to sources close to Cam's circle, this wasn't just a revenge play, it was years in the making. Allegedly, Cam and Chrissy had been in contact for months. Private studio sessions, late-night calls, hidden hotel rendezvous that were always brushed off as family business or old friends catching up. But behind the scenes, burner, phones, fake names on flight manifests, and receipts so damning they made Mona Scott consider shutting down an entire season of filming. And then there's Jim. Poor Jim. He found out like the rest of us on livestream, sitting down with fans, talking about his upcoming project when his assistant handed him a phone mid-sentence. He paused, smiled politely, then played the clip once, twice. The third time, his eyes didn't move, just frozen. Like the sound of Chrissy's voice drained every ounce of love, trust, and energy he had left. He didn't rage. He didn't walk off. He just whispered, "That's her," like he already knew, but hoped he was wrong. Meanwhile, Cam was playing chess, every step calculated, every piece moved for maximum impact. Because this wasn't just about love. It was about betrayal on camera, betrayal behind cameras, and betrayal wrapped in non-disclosure agreements. Remember the Moran Hotel incident last year? That grainy security footage showing Chrissy walking into a luxury suite at 2:14 a.m. Everyone swore it was nothing. That's her cousin, they said. Cam denied everything. Jim stayed quiet, but that hoodie, the one the mystery man wore, was the same limited edition Dipset tour hoodie Cam rocked the week before. Coincidence? Not anymore, because the new audio confirms it. Chrissy says, Cam made me feel seen. Not just branded, not just handled. She was done being the ride-or-die. She wanted to be the main character. And Cam, he was more than happy to direct the story. One VH1 insider says Chrissy had been plotting her exit strategy for years. She didn't want to just be Jim's fiancé. She wanted her own production deal, her own narrative, her own power. And guess who offered that? Camron, who apparently didn't just give her attention, he gave her opportunity. According to leaked emails, there was talk of a spinoff. Something raw, something unfiltered. A docuseries exposing the reality behind the reality show. And Cam. He filed paperwork last month with an entertainment attorney, citing intellectual property ownership of footage captured between July and October. Guess who's in every frame? Chrissy. The audio was just the first strike. Word is Cam's. Sitting on a vault of clips, conversations, voicemails, hotel logs, even texts. And one of them, a message from Chrissy to Cam that simply says, he's at the studio. You got 2 hours. Come or not. That text alone shattered whatever illusion was left. But the moment that really shook the internet came in court. Because yes, this thing made it to court. Jim's legal team filed a breach of contract suit against Chrissy after discovering that their supposed co-branded series Love Always Wins is being pitched behind his back to multiple networks, with Cam listed as a co-producer. That's not just shady. That's war. In the courtroom, Chrissy walked in like it was just another taping day. Slick back hair, black and black outfit, oversized sunglasses hiding whatever guilt she still had. Didn't even look at her. Just sat there stone-faced while his mother clutched a Bible and a box of tissues like they were evidence. Then came the bombshell. Cam arrived, not through the side door. Through the main hall. Caramel trench coat, sunglasses on, with his attorney. Right behind him holding a folder labeled Exhibit C inside. A printed contract. Jim's signature on it. Chrissy's too. And footage that directly contradicted everything she'd said in interviews for the last 5 years. The judge didn't waste time. Asked Chrissy flat out, were you romantically involved with Mr. Camron Giles during the planning of this project? And Chrissy, without blinking, said yes. Just like that. No hesitation, no breakdown. Just a word that sucked the air out of the room. Mama Jones gasped loud enough to echo. Jim just clenched his jaw. The judge asked again, were you aware that your relationship could harm the credibility of this business venture? Another nod. Another bomb. But the final nail came from a leak not even Cam saw coming. An anonymous VH1 intern uploaded a Dropbox folder to Reddit. Inside, screenshots, emails, calendar invites, and a voice note from Chrissy saying, he thinks I'm in it for the love. I'm in it for the story. And Cam writes better ones. That quote? That went viral in under 6 minutes. Twitter timelines flipped. TikToks started reenacting it. T-shirts with the phrase, Cam writes better stories, started selling out. Overnight, this wasn't just a scandal. This was a broadcasted execution of Jim Jones's heart, trust, and public image. And Cam, he didn't blink. He posted one sentence on his Instagram story. She said it, not me. No hashtag, no follow-up. Just a smirk that said, checkmate. And just when people thought it couldn't go any deeper, a court clerk handed the judge a sealed flash drive marked Homeland Security investigations. The courtroom went still. The seal on that flash drive wasn't ordinary. Homeland Security doesn't just hand out evidence bags like party favors. The judge's face turned rigid as he inspected the label, then inserted the drive into the courtroom display system without a word. What followed wasn't another leak hit, was a detonation. Audio kicked in, slightly muffled at first, like it was captured in a trailer or production tent. Chrissy's voice unmistakable. I told Mona to reroute the money. Jim didn't need to know we used his name to push the gala. That's all. A second voice, female, nervous, whispered back, Chrissy. That's fraud, Chrissy's reply. Cold, flat, final. No, that's television. And with that sentence, the whole courtroom exhaled like it had been holding its breath for 10 years. Because now it wasn't just about cheating, betrayal, or some petty lover's triangle gone sideways. This was potential federal wire fraud, charity misuse. An exploitation of Jim Jones' brand and name to fund a fake nonprofit gala that was, in reality, just a cover to pay for unauthorized production expenses. Jim's lawyer stood instantly. Your Honor, we move to submit this evidence in support of our amended motion brand defamation, emotional manipulation, and reputational sabotage. The judge, without hesitation, nodded. Granted. End. At that moment, the camera flashes outside the courtroom became relentless. Every entertainment blog, gossip page, and news channel had someone standing by. TMZ was running live stream commentary. The Shade Room had posted 15 screenshots in under 2 minutes. And a Reddit thread titled Chrissy's Netflix Hustle just got exposed by Homeland Security had already hit 20,000 upvotes in under 10 minutes. Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, Chrissy finally looked rattled. She wasn't hiding behind her glasses anymore. Her lips were trembling. Her eyes wouldn't stop shifting between the judge, the screen, and Jim. But Jim, he was done. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually emptied. He didn't yell. He didn't curse. Didn't even blink. He just folded his arms and stared ahead like he was watching the final act of a play he never auditioned for. Then he stood, slowly, quietly. The judge allowed him to speak. And in a voice that cracked only once, Jim turned to Chrissy and said, "Was any of it real? Or was I just the brand you built your story on?" Chrissy opened her mouth, but no words came out. Nothing, not a single syllable. That silence was louder than every leaked audio combined. The kind of silence that tells the truth before anyone speaks it. The kind that confirms everything we didn't want to believe. The judge ordered a short recess, but there was no break from this fallout. Because the second everyone stepped outside that courtroom, another bomb dropped. Camron's team posted a teaser, a 30-second trailer titled The Footage They Tried to Bury. The clip. Chrissy in a hotel room wearing a Dipset hoodie on the phone pacing. Her voice tight, whispering, "Jim's out of town. I've got 2 hours. You coming or not?" A voice on the other end responded, "Already downstairs." Then the screen went black. Just white text. Coming soon? It was over. The internet had seen enough. This wasn't a PR disaster. This was a full-on cultural implosion. People weren't just unfollowing Chrissy. They were dragging her through every platform imaginable. Fan pages that had posted romantic montages of Jim and Chrissy were now replacing them with clips of the leaked audio, slow zooms on Jim's face in court, and timelines of every shady move she'd made over the years. Even Love and Hip Hop co-stars started weighing in. One anonymous ex-cast member messaged a gossip page with, "Y'all don't know the half of it. Chrissy been plotting this since season 2. Mona Scott's silence, deafening. VH1's legal team tried to intervene, requesting the judge remove all production-related accusations from public record. The judge denied it. "This is public business now," he said. "And this courtroom is where we clean it up." But Mona, Schwent, ghost. No public statements. No tweets. No shady Instagram quotes. Just silence, as reports surfaced that Netflix had already pulled the plug on Chrissy and Jim's upcoming docuseries. One leaked email from a producer simply said, "We can't attach ourselves to this narrative. We're stepping back indefinitely." Meanwhile, Dipset's official Instagram unfollowed Chrissy, removed every mention of her from recent posts, and Jim's bio now just read one word, rebuilding. But even that wasn't the end. A former VH1 production assistant leaked screenshots of an internal Slack message from Mona Scott Young sent just days before the courtroom meltdown. The message read, "If this footage leaks, we're finished." Jim doesn't know the half of what was scripted. Let legal handle the rest. That message ignited a wildfire. Comment sections blew up with "she used his trauma as a script." And maybe the harshest one of all, Chrissy didn't lie on TV. She rehearsed it. The pressure boiled over. Chrissy stood up in court, unprompted. No script, no makeup team. No storyline to hide behind. And for the first time, her voice cracked. "I messed up," she said, barely above a whisper. "I thought I could separate the image from the truth. I thought I could love him in public and still chase something else in private. But I lost both. Cam was real. Jim was real. But I stopped being real with either of them. And then it became a show, and I couldn't get out." The judge didn't stop her. Maybe because everyone needed to hear it. Maybe because this was the final scene no one expected to see. She ended with, "I don't expect forgiveness. Not from Jim, not from the fans. I just want the truth on record, 'cause I'm tired of hiding behind the script." And she sat down. Not a single person clapped. No one cried. It was a moment that sat heavy in the air, thick with regret, betrayal, and the realization that the fairy tale everyone rooted for was nothing more than a beautifully filmed lie. The judge spoke. Slowly after that, given the magnitude of this evidence, the business conflicts, and the risk of ongoing reputational damage to public entities and media companies, this court is allowing all pending motions to move forward. Additionally, the financial evidence connected to the nonprofit and affiliated footage is being referred to federal authorities for investigation. And just like that, it was done. Not officially, but emotionally. Camron had already left the courtroom, didn't wait for the ruling, didn't need to. He had what he came for. He posted one last thing to his story that night. A clip of Jim, from a deleted Netflix scene, sitting on a rooftop alone with a glass in his hand, saying, "I've spent my whole life trying to protect people who just needed a stage." Then silence. Then black screen. Then white text. The real story was never about love. It was about loyalty and who killed it first. Lit first. By the time the clip faded to black and those words sunk into the bloodstream of the internet, the damage wasn't just irreversible, it was now immortal. Every gossip blogger, every messy YouTube reactor, every tweet thread specialist was locked in dissecting every syllable like they were decoding a national conspiracy. Chrissy had gone from fan-favorite fiancé to a walking cautionary tale, while Jim Jones was suddenly the culture's broken-hearted anti-hero. But the real puppet master? Camron. Cool, quiet, calculated, and nowhere to be found. Till midnight. That's when his team dropped the final teaser trailer for what they now called a docu-vent experience, titled "The Footage They Tried to Bury." And what did it open with? Not Chrissy, not Cam, not the courtroom. It opened on Jim, alone, sitting in a low-lit room with the Dipset logo faded behind him. One question from the interviewer: "Did you ever think she was using you?" Jim exhaled and said, "No, but I should have." The screen went black again, and the countdown clock began ticking. 3-part release. Next Friday. Streaming everywhere. The reaction was volcanic. Netflix had passed. Hulu had stayed silent. But Cam, he wasn't waiting on corporate. He partnered with an indie streaming startup and planned to drop it direct to viewer. That move alone made headlines. Camron disrupts streaming industry with scandal-fueled miniseries. And as if this scandal hadn't spread far enough, another anonymous leak surfaced this time. A full text thread from Chrissy's burner phone. Messages exchanged between her and someone labeled simply MSY, which at this point no one doubted meant Mona Scott-Young. The texts were damning. "Chrissy, delete everything he knows. It's over. MSY, don't panic. VH1 Legal can bury anything with enough paperwork. Chrissy, it's too late. Cam recorded everything. He's going to air it all. MSY, then we push back. Drop your crying scene. Let's control the sympathy." That message ended the illusion for many fans who were still holding on to the hope that this was just a messy breakup. No, this wasn't heartbreak. This was a marketing plan turned courtroom tragedy. VH1 tried to distance itself fast. Released a statement at 2 a.m., the view's actions and productions discussed in recent online materials were never sanctioned or approved by VH1 or its parent company. We are cooperating fully with legal counsel regarding footage ownership and narrative consent. But that wasn't enough. A video began circulating from a Netflix pitch meeting on internal deck showing Chrissy and Jim smiling with bullet points beneath them. Romantic redemption. Post-fidelity healing, and America's favorite black love story returns. Fans were livid. This wasn't just about the relationship falling apart. It was about being sold a fantasy while the reality was being buried. Comment sections flooded with betrayal. They used our hearts to push episodes. Jim was the only real one. Chrissy rehearsed her vows and her lies. But the nail in the coffin came from Mama Jones. She had stayed relatively quiet since the courtroom bombshells. But now she posted a video to her followers. No glam, no script, just a mother holding back tears. I told my son ... I told him, baby, this woman ain't for you. But he believed in love. He believed in the dream. And now they made a fool of him. The internet mourned with her. This wasn't just tea anymore. It was grief. A real-time unraveling of a legacy built over decades, now crumbling under microphones, leaked footage, burner phones, and betrayal that was never supposed to be televised. The Dipset brand, long praised for loyalty and unity, now sat splintered. Jim hadn't posted since the court ruling. Chrissy was completely silent, not even a cryptic post. It's just a blackout profile. Mona, still ghost. VH1 wiped her name from active credits and began auditing every unsanctioned project she had greenlit in the past 5 years. And Cam, he was getting ready to premiere the documentary that would burn every bridge they tried to hide behind. Fans weren't waiting for justice. They had already passed their verdict. In public opinion, Chrissy was guilty of emotional sabotage, brand theft, and public manipulation. But it wasn't just Chrissy on the chopping block. This scandal exposed a whole industry built on turning real lives into lies with camera angles and catchphrases. Every fake wedding, every edited tear, every moment that once had viewers clapping now had them questioning what was real, who was honest, and why did we root for something that was scripted from the start? And while Dipset fans grieved a collapse, Cam was thriving. Interviews lined up, podcasts begging for a guest spot. Merch printed overnight. She used the mic, I dropped the tape. Even the trailer's tagline went viral. The real story was never about love, it was about loyalty and who killed it first. And that's when it hit everyone. Cam didn't leak this out of revenge. He leaked it for justice. Or maybe even something darker, vindication, because he had warned them. Quietly, subtly, for years, and no one listened. Until now. Until Chrissy's voice told on herself. Until Jim's heart broke on livestream. Till every fake tear became a crime scene. And now, here we are. The footage is out. The truth is viral. The brand is shattered, and the legacy is unrecognizable. But the question remains, was Chrissy ever really in love with Jim? Or was he just her camera-ready cover story? Was Cam her secret salvation? Or her carefully calculated escape plan? And where the hell is Mona while all this burns? Because the truth is, this wasn't just a love triangle. It was a media empire fueled by secrets, monetized by betrayal, and destroyed by a single sentence caught on tape. So what happens next? Well, we're about to find out. Cam's series drops next Friday, and after that, nothing will ever be the same again. So now that it's all out there, the audio, the texts, the courtroom breakdown, and the confessions that shattered a legacy, the only thing left to ask is, where do you stand? Was Chrissy just a woman trapped in a toxic script, or was she the executive producer of her own betrayal? Did Jim Jones deserve the truth, or was he just the last to find out he'd been cast as a placeholder? Was he the villain with a vendetta, or the only one bold enough to press record when everyone else was playing pretend? If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just TT's a full-blown expose. But trust, this story isn't over. The next leak, the next trailer, the next twist, it's coming, and when it does, you'll want to be the first to know. So hit that like button if you're still catching your breath. Drop your theories in the comments. Who was the real mastermind? And don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell, because around here, the truth never sleeps. The footage never fades, and the drama ... well, it's just getting started. Welcome to the saga where love dies, but receipts live forever.